Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Meeting Replay, a series where I break down how modern financial advisors are actually using AI inside of their client or prospect conversations. This is in theory. These are real workflows, real meetings we're going to talk through, and what's actually changing in our industry and in advisory practices because of AI. And I'm your host, Diana Cabrices, Chief Evangelist at Jump, the #1 AI for financial professionals. And today I'm joined by Nicole Milone, Chief Wealth Officer at Solaris Strategic Wealth, where Nicole has cultivated an approach that feels more like a heart-to-heart than a typical financial consultation, and where Nicole has built quite the brand. I'm just going to call out that we're both wearing Solaris earrings today. We'll get back to that in just a second. And with Nicole, we're going to talk through a recent new client meeting where she used AI to turn just this one solo meeting into entire team intelligence that her team could tap into. Now, the meeting covered a lot of ground. We'll get to it with you, Nicole, but it started with the possibility of retiring early at 60, but then ended up in this new client getting let go from the company that they've been at for over 28 years. So there's a lot to talk through here. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
So Nicole, let's tell everyone where you're located. Where is Solaris Wealth?
So Solaris Strategic Wealth is located in Charlotte, North Carolina, but we serve clients across the entire United States.
Love it. Perfect. So you're virtual, but you have a physical location. So you see clients in Charlotte as well, correct?
I do.
Okay, wonderful. And I'll also just call out the brand. Again, I mentioned it a moment ago. You're very passionate about your brand. You've got earrings. I think I even got a little pin from you that I didn't put on today. Maybe we could just quickly start, tell me a little bit about Solaris and this beautiful sun that I have on my ears today.
Yeah, so when we rebranded about a year ago now, and it was all about looking forward to the future, and I am a ball of energy. So when I actually did a meditation, and I was launched to the sun, and I knew that the name of our company needed to have something to do with energy, expressing that energy, showing joy in the world and sharing that joy. So Solaris came out of that because soul is the sun, and my children are bilingual. So we were talking one day and they said soul, and I was like, oh, wait, that's the sun, isn't it? So that's where Solaris came from. It's about sharing good experiences with people and helping them to figure out their journey in the world and just be a supportive partner.
That's beautiful. I really admire the fact that you meditated on it. You really thought through this, and it's very intentional, and it shows. And ball of energy is definitely what I would use to describe you. Nicole and I, we actually went on a financial advisor retreat together about 2 months ago now in Asheville, North Carolina, and she is a ball of energy, and she's wonderful. So, okay, we'll actually get into the meeting now. Thank you, Nicole, for talking through that with me. I think it's so unique. Let's lay some of the foundation here. So I'd love to talk through this recent new client meeting and learn about how AI supported you. So let's just start with what happened in this meeting.
Okay, so it was a new client to us who was looking to understand their journey. They would like to retire in the next 5 years, which was retiring early at 60. Okay. They'd had a long career with the same employer, which was great, and some great benefits around that. The spouse also worked actually for the state, so has a really nice, retirement program. But what does that mean for them? And they'd like to travel. So traveling between now and retirement, and then after retirement, was very important to all of them, even if it meant they needed to work longer. They wanted to be able to travel. And so we sat down and we started just the conversation in general of how, they wanted to relocate their home. They don't know where they want to live, but they knew they were in a really good market right now. So should they sell their house? What should they do? We talked through all of that. So I take a behavioral approach. So I had to make sure that they understood the behaviors that they were going to need to change. If they didn't live in a home and they lived in an apartment complex, well, I gave them a questionnaire to go to that apartment complex and observe. Like, you don't want to, these are, middle-aged individuals, you don't want to go to a 20 plus somewhere apartment complex where it's loud at night, like haven't explored it, that you need to look for. So we give them a lot of tasks to do to understand what they're getting into, and a professional to help them understand if they should sell their house. What is the market like? What does that look like? I wanted to make sure I was truly giving them independent advice, and the day I wanted to be a true fiduciary. Yeah. So got them analysis. What did it look like? What did it entail to move? What are the costs associated with that, right? So we help them break all of that down and see that, oh, okay, if they did sell their house and they moved to an apartment and they worked the next 5 years, then they could decide where they wanted to live. Their son does not live here. So there's a possibility of moving to where he is, if that the future brings wife and children and all those things. So they needed the flexibility over the next 5 years before they made a decision on where they wanted to live. And that gave them the freedom to choose and go explore where they might want to live as well. So we got them all on task for all of that. And then the world threw us a curveball, which it always does. So they were extremely excited about the plan, knowing that they could list their house and do all the things that they needed to do. And then the rug was pulled out. After 28 years, he was provided a severance package. And, in just the conversation in general, like trying to keep it all succinct, from just your sheer panic that you have when you no longer have, if you're finding out you don't have a job, and this is the job you've had your entire career. This person has never interviewed for a job in their life. So to think through, I only have 5 more years to work, and now I have to figure out how to interview all. So keeping the emotions, like we went back to the numbers to keep the emotions down. And he was like, it was because we had these meetings with you. I'm pissed, but I didn't freak out. I knew we're going to be okay. The shock I had to get through. So then we went through some grieving steps on all the things he's going to go through this process, until he can figure out. I said, well, now you get to decide what you want to be when you grow up. Like, this is exciting. Yeah. But once you get past the shock of, oh my gosh. So I gave him some journaling questions around, what does he want to do when he grows up? Like, what brings him joy? This is now kind of taken some shackles off that he always thought he'd be tied to this desk until he retired. And he's like, man, maybe I can go be a golf pro. Maybe I could go do this. Maybe I could work at my gym. And I'm like, if it brings you joy, yes. So where AI helped us in that, though, is it recorded all of those emotions that he had, and I could give those back to him in meeting notes and say, when you're having those down moments, I want you to go reflect back on this part of our call. Here's all those emotions that you felt and where you wanted to move forward to. I could have never really captured it the way that AI captured it, because I'm trying to be present in the moment with my clients. And to have all of that recaptured for me, I was like, this is so powerful for me to go back and say, these are the behaviors that we focused in on our call. And that really changed our conversation. And the client was so thankful for just the positive nature of the notes of, it took this very somber kind of situation and made it much more happy for me. Not as happy as he could be, right? Like, he's still got to deal with, he doesn't have a job.
Right. That's very powerful. There's so many things that I want to say to this. And thank you for walking us through, like, beginning to end, right? It started off with just this optimism, right? About being able to retire early, and then the life curveball, because life is always kind of life. And then
life happens. Yeah, that's what we say. Well, life happens.
It does. And I appreciate your process, because you had him do all of these exercises. He really worked through it, not just tried to make a decision around it, because that's never going to get us anywhere, right? And so the AI piece is also very impactful here, because for you to have to listen and take all of this in and write notes and organize the information, that probably would have taken you a lot longer without AI. But you're right. The way that AI, and in this case, you using Jump in your meetings, like the way it captures the essence of the conversation and then adds structure around it, and then allows you to take that and give it back to your client which adds structure for them. And emotions need that structure, right? Because we're often floating around and we're feeling different things. And it's like crashes of waves, right? Up and down. And you created real structure around that. And I love that. And actually, you know, the way that I position this whole interview is taking this one solo meeting that you had with your client and allowing that to empower your team. And I do want to get to that. But first off, it empowered your client first and foremost, which I think is wonderful. And I just think, again, that your process there, allowing them to reflect and figure out like, okay, what's going to bring me joy in this next phase, I think is awesome. So kudos to you. And this is one of the reasons why I think you are such a fantastic financial advisor and just human. Let's maybe start maybe before you even started using AI and Jump, because believe it or not, there's still advisors out there who don't really use meeting note takers yet, or they're just like maybe a little apprehensive. So let's start before Jump. Let's say you had the same exact client that came to you with all of this going on. What did your team-based meeting process typically look like? Like, did you have to have every person, multiple people in the room? And was it crucial that you did have all of these people in the room with you?
Yes. So yeah, we take a team approach in our planning. So we, I'm training newer advisors. So there's some modeling that's going on. That's one of the reasons why they're in the meeting. But number two is they were the note taker. They were the update the plan if you heard something different from the client, or at least ask questions around, wait, that's not how we have it positioned. Should we be asking more questions around that? And they would document everything in the meetings, because I needed them to hear and feel what the client was feeling as well. So I needed them part of the meeting. And then we also have a staff member whose their job is voice of client. So that is to follow up. How are we meeting your expectations that we level set when we brought you on? Is all of that happening? So they would pop in the meetings sometimes and just listen for a little while. They're trying to get the feel of, is the client getting what we are promising out there? So now with it Jump, I'm able to do all of that with just me in the meeting, but still teach and coach everyone on the team as well. So I can, we use all kinds of things and Jump, from insights to, we use that as a coaching tool. So if an advisor does a call solo, I'll go back and watch the call. We do at least one a month where we review it together. What could happen differently? What did Jump tell us? Are the clients satisfied? We're working as a team on asking for referrals. We're not good at it. Well, Jump's telling us, you didn't ask for referrals. So now we can go back and do some self-assessment on, okay, how do I get good at it? And then let's look at one where you did ask for it. And how did you feel? Were you okay with that? Like nothing happened. The world didn't fall apart, right? Like you can go, oh yeah, it is. It's just a matter of reminding myself. So then we went and we adjusted our agendas, right? Because everything's pre-done for us. So it tells us, what did we talk about before? What did we need to get done? What do we need to achieve during this call? We do all of that pre-work ahead of time. Well, Jump does it for us, really, right, at the end of the day. And then we have the outline for our meetings. But I can still be involved in the meetings because I can go back and look at them, and vice versa. If there was a really important meeting that someone didn't join and I think they need to hear it and feel it, I'll go have them watch the playback. Because they needed to hear for themselves, not just read. There's a lot of emotion in some of our meetings. So I need them to feel that. So it's really changed how we've done business, in the sense of, I don't need 3 people or 2 people in every meeting. It's now just the advisor, the lead advisor in that particular situation, but you can share it with the whole team. And then all of your tasks are all out there. So we just task it away, like assign into Salesforce. Here you go, Jamie, you need to do a follow-up in a couple of weeks. Make sure you listen to or read the notes about what happened, and you can follow up with your voice a client. The client has XYZ going on in their life. Make sure you follow up in 3 months when their grandchild is born, or whatever it is. And that's a quick dash of a task already created and just moved to Salesforce. Like the efficiency that we've had, it used to take me an hour plus after a meeting just to do meeting notes and do all the follow-up that I do around the behavior stuff. I do a lot of journaling exercises and stuff for my clients. So it's a lot of follow-up that you have to do. So this has shortened it to now I have 30 minutes after a meeting blocked, and I probably need 15.
Ugh, gosh. Okay, so
It's very cool.
very, very cool. And thanks for elaborating on that. Time savings is a big one. I hear this time and time again. It's empowering you to save time, and that is
Yeah.
beautiful. But there's so much more that I'm hearing right now. The behavioral side of it, I think, is just phenomenal. And I think that is really what AI is empowering advisors to be able to open up more to, is like, okay, let's pull out the emotion from these meetings. I do also appreciate that sometimes you just still have your team jump in and listen to a meeting and look at the person and on the video and feel those emotions. I don't think we should ever, outsource that completely, right? Sometimes you really just need to go through it yourself. But you said something earlier about like leaning into these meetings to really understand the practice through your client's eyes. And I think maybe this was something that you had to always have somebody on the meeting before Jump to do. Now that's definitely changed after Jump, and things are a lot more streamlined. But I'd love to maybe talk a little bit about how you've used Jump in your practice to see through your client's eyes, and maybe what that has revealed about your niche. Maybe we talk about this for a minute or two.
Yeah, sure. So, so we used to have Jamie, she would follow up with clients. Now she does a more analytical approach. So we use insights in Jump and all the various details that they will give us. And she can go look at, things that were talked about in the meeting, the life events that are happening with the particular client. So we are able to use that data for our voice of client, for our follow-up with clients. But where it really, really was impactful for us is when we first started using it, we were like, what can this tell us? And tell us about how we do business. And so we took 5 of what we would consider our favorite meetings over a period of time, and we put it into an AI tool and said, tell us what the clients think about our practice. And based on what you know about Solaris, tell us, where do we add the most value to our clients? So it really showed us from the other side of the table what people see about us. What do they feel? What do they, what would they potentially say about us? And we don't know if they've said it, but these are the things they're saying in our meetings and the emotions that they're showing us. So it really helped us in identifying where we find our most joy. And where we've niched down is we've served first generation millionaires for as long as we've been around. And that primarily comes from, that's what my advisor, who was my business partner, helped my husband and I do. So I have a passion for helping people who've worked hard to build their own legacy. How do we continue to build that and grow it for our future generations? And so where I found the niche, though, was doing it for women and providing relief when they're going through a life transition. So our new niche now is we're focused in on women who are going through a life transition, high net worth women who are going through a life transition such as divorce or losing a loved one. And we walk the journey with them and help satisfy the immediate need of, are you going to be okay? But then eventually, once we get through the trauma of the events, how do we then start to build a financial future where you are secure and provide relief to them? And that is the word that came across in every single meeting, was we provide relief. And that is just my why at the end of the day. So it was like a no-brainer for us, but it was really cool to have something else confirm through just what we love to do and the people we've enjoyed working with over the last few months, that it just was very clear to us exactly where we needed to move.
And confirm it based on actual client vocabulary, right? Like we can create our own marketing messaging, and we can think it sounds good and maybe ask a few people to weigh in on it. But having data coming from actual meetings, actual client language over time, that's like the most powerful way to do it. And I feel like we need to have a whole other interview on that, but I wanted to throw in that bonus question because, you had mentioned it earlier, and I think it's such a powerful way to also leverage tools like Jump and AI. And it's about time savings. It's about, creating a process, a scalable process in your business that empowers your team so they can save time and you can save time.
Yep.
But also there's this really cool use case here. And so I'm glad that we got to touch on that. For my last question, I usually always ask every guest that we have on this show, because there are a lot of advisors who tune into this show. And I think, as I mentioned before, there's still a lot of advisors who maybe aren't fully adopting AI in their meetings and after their meetings and before their meetings as they should be. Maybe they're still apprehensive. So for anyone who maybe fits that bucket, what advice would you give them? Where does the real value show up? Like, why can't Nicole live without Jump?
Oh boy, yeah. My answer is just do it. Like we were waiting for a while because we use Teams.
Yeah.
So back in where we were, we weren't willing to move to Zoom to be able to use Jump. So as soon as I could have Jump, like we were on it. And you're a little apprehensive the first couple of times because you're like, what if you say something wrong, right? Because you're being recorded. And I would tell you just the ease of which it becomes second nature to you. Now I don't not like having it in a meeting because it captures everything. I don't have to worry about making sure I remember that. It's going to be in the notes. It's going to be tasked out for me and many times. And so I can truly be present. And in this world that we live in today, being present is so important. And we're got a million things going on, your phone's going off, whatever it is. So to be able to dedicate that 60 minutes to a client and make them feel like I dedicated that entire time just to them having that conversation, if that's the way you want your clients to feel, that's what Jump gives you, is it gives you the freedom to be present in the moment and really listen to your clients, which for me also then helps you uncover opportunities as well that you may have missed because you were too busy focused on writing that note that you needed to take and you weren't really listening to that opportunity that they delivered.
Yeah. That is powerful advice. And I want to, again, just give you kudos for the way you run your practice, the way you serve your clients, but also the way you're using AI now in your meetings, Nicole, before, during, and after, to empower you, but also use it as this coaching opportunity, this coaching tool for your entire team. That is what AI is here to help us all do. And I think that is such a great use case. And for anyone that is still tuned into this episode today, and if you'd like to learn more about Jump, the #1 AI platform for financial professionals designed to save time, increase revenue, and elevate the client experience, as Nicole has talked through today, with compliant AI, keyword compliant, scan the QR code on the bottom of the screen to start your 14-day trial. And Nicole, thank you so much again. I know this will be very helpful for other advisors to tune into. And for everyone still in, we hope to see you on the next episode. Thank you, Nicole.
Bye.